really important thing that everybody overlooks is how you start the relationship really matters. Hello and welcome to the Coach's Plaza. My name is Amanda Kaufman, and this week we are doing a training all about one of the secrets to building more predictability, more engagement, more awesomeness in your coaching business. So if you can see me and hear me, let me know. Say hello in the chat. If you are new here, shout out new. If you are an old friend, shout out friend, so I can say hello and good morning. Okay, so today we're going to be talking about email marketing, and I decided to title this one, The Art of Email Marketing and Crafting Messages That Move. You know, there's a lot of people who know that email marketing is pretty foundational, but what a lot of people don't know is what tiny tweaks you can make to make your messaging actually resonate, make it actually vibe, make it actually work. So we're going to unpack all of that today, and let's get this party started. I'm super excited to have you here. And by the way, if we haven't met before, my name is Amanda, and today we're going to be looking over a tool that is wildly looked past, right? And there's a lot of reasons why. Number one, everybody's addicted to social media. So they're looking for 30-second fixes because they're just living in this 3-second transitional kind of place. So if you're like me and you have ADHD or anything else going on with that, that can really just distract you from the longer term plays. So an email list can feel like it's just more work, it's just more burden. But let me tell you a little bit of something about why. Like if people were like, shut down your TikTok, I'd be like, take my TikTok. If people were like, shut down your YouTube, I would be like, okay, bye. Right? Even my Facebook, which, you know, I have a lot of followers and engagement on Facebook, but even then, if something should happen to my Facebook, guess what? I have an email list. So if the thing is like the list, it's not just an email list. I have a contact list. I have another term from back in the day that might resonate is I have a house list. So this house has a list of all of the connections that we've made over the years. And we have the contact information for folks so that we can, yes, market to them, but also follow up, but also have history for if they ever come back. Now, here's a really cool and interesting thing about having a customer list, a house list. Just the other day, I got an email from an alumni, somebody who had taken a couple of my programs 5 years ago. 5 years ago. Now, this individual had decided to take a break from coaching, which is fine, right? And so then she emails me 5 years later. You have to understand that I've worked with hundreds of people after her in a client capacity. Like lots of movement has happened in the last 5 years for me, but for her, she's reactivating and she's re-engaging. So she sends me an email saying, hey, how do I access my stuff? Well, because I had a proper system, I could see right away what she had bought before, how far she had gone before, what she had done before. So I was empowered to make a really great reply on email. And it actually led us to having a bit of not a full-blown consult, but a full conversation to re-engage and reconnect, which is just so super cool. It is really tempting to put all of your effort into social media because it's very visible. Everybody sees that. And you see really successful people, they generally have pretty strong social media. But I really want you to understand that email is something that you get ownership over in the long term. So here's the thing. Algorithms are going to show your message, and if people are engaging with it, then awesome. Okay, it is working. Okay, awesome. But done right, people that really like to hear from you, really like your message, really like how you solve problems, they're going to open your emails over and over and over again. Now, this is where a lot of people kind of go off the rails, right? Like they are putting a lot of value in the email, but they never ever make an invitation to the next step, or they don't make an invitation that makes sense for the next step. So they end up with really weak marketing, really weak engagement, really weak commitment from the people in their email list. And so they don't make any money. And look, if you don't make the money, that's okay, right? But just remember, if there's no money at all, then we can't sustain the mission. So, I'm never going to sit here and say, you person, you need to make XYZ number of dollars. I don't know. Maybe you're a sugar baby. Maybe you've got a trust fund and making money really is not material to your lifestyle. But for a lot of us, it is. So I really just feel that if you have stronger systems and stronger messaging and stronger connection, then you're going to get more opportunities, more predictability, and it's going to be really, really awesome. So I'm going to share with you 3 types of emails that I send and that have had high conversion. I'm also going to walk you through some of the do's and don'ts of email marketing that people who are like, how hard can it be? You're probably making this mistake. And so I'm going to walk through some of those mistakes and some of the oversights. And by the end of this training, you're going to know exactly how to master using email really effectively. And you know what? This particular topic, I'm probably never going to do another email topic again, or at least not for the foreseeable future, because I can see that the engagement from the audience is super, super low on this topic. So if you are here, this is for you. Okay. And so definitely pay attention, because I have to sustain my message as well. And if I see that people are like not interested in email, I'm not going to talk about it. So, okay. That being said, you are here. Let's go. Let's do this thing. So the first thing is you want to audit your inbox strategy. How are you showing up in people's inboxes? So inbox in this context means probably their Gmail account. It might also, like some of the things I'm going to talk about, translate over into messenger inboxes and SMS and text messaging inboxes, but we're pretty focused on email today. So here is why a lot of people don't do it. Number one, they think writing an email is hard. You don't have an email list right now. Malay, we need to talk about this. Oh my gosh. You know what? Yeah, we need to talk about this. A lot of people just don't even have a system for capturing their contacts. And can I just ask you, like, is it cool if I just ask you, like, do you have a system? Do you have like a CRM? Are you using, like, we use Plaza Plus, which is our white label of Go High Level. It could be MailChimp, it could be Kajabi, it could be ActiveCampaign, it could be ClickFunnels. It really doesn't. Yeah, Lynn, you're one of our Plaza Plus customers. Yeah. So the first thing is you got to have a list, right? Like before we start talking the bells and the whistles of the 3 different kinds of emails, you must have a list. Now, something I've been flirting with, you guys, is doing more kind of workshops, demo-y workshops that are kind of challenge based, so that you're doing some of the content creation and you get that feedback loop in the container of the workshop. So if that would be super exciting to you, just let me know. Shout out workshop. Okay. So you've got the tool, Malay. So here's my big question. You know what? My big question is, are you willing to start your list today? Like today. So a lot of people don't realize you can start your list right now. Your email list, your customer list, your prospect list, your contact list. Now I'm going to share something with you that I honestly didn't even hear until I was like 7 years into business. And then when I heard it, I was like, what the what? What the what? And that is, instead of looking at your marketing as like this separate thing and your email list as this separate thing, what if your tool, your dash, was every contact, right? So what if I was in there? No, not to receive your marketing, but what if I was in there and all my contact information was in there and you were able to contact me when you had an opportunity you thought would be really, really important? What if your other coaches were in there? What if the people you were hoping to do podcasts with were in there? What if the people that you were hoping to do barter coaching with were in there? Now, when it comes to your customer list, what's really important is you can segment the list. So typically in a system, that means you're adding a tag so you can tell the difference between people who are interested in being somebody who sells to you. You can have a tag that is people who are interested in possibly becoming a customer. So you can use something called tagging to make sure you're not just blasting everybody willy-nilly with email, right? Yeah. So here's how. I'm going to give you straight how. I love that you're here. And this is a small and amazing, mighty audience to talk about email because I am serious. You are getting the serious gold. So I want you to open your contacts and I want you to open your Gmail and I want you to contact the person and I want you to ask them, would it be okay if I followed up with you for whatever reason it is? So if you've got somebody in your contacts that you're like, you want to do an interview, just a research interview. Ask them if it's okay. And if they say it's okay, then just add their contact list into your system, not to market to, but to invite them directly to the purpose of sending them an invitation to do an interview. Same thing with podcasting. Same thing with people who are hoping to sell to you. I do a thing now on my website, and you can check it out at www.thecoachesplaza.com. Is at the top in the menu, there's an opportunity for suppliers. So when somebody wants to sell to me, I always say, great, come join my preferred supplier list. And all it's doing is adding the contact to my business contacts in my system so that I can contact them when I'm looking for somebody. And oh, by the way, I'm going to have a major competitive bid process when I open up for doing YouTube SEO optimization, because I get that request all the time from people like, I want to fix your YouTube. I want to fix your YouTube. When I'm ready to do that, instead of just like going to Fiverr or going to, hitting up a friend or something, I can literally send an email to everyone who said that they wanted to be a supplier and that their specialty was YouTube. And I can send them all an email. And here's the thing, they're already filtered for being serious enough about their business to apply to work with me. So there you go, right? It's pretty cool. Add contacts, add actual contacts. You know people right now today. And I don't care if your list is 3 people. What's really important is you start building the habit of adding names and emails and phone numbers to your business contact list, because if you don't build business contacts, how are you going to build a business, right? Let's not overcomplicate it. Now, there's other things you can do. Like, for example, you've probably been taught that you can create a lead magnet. Who's heard that they can do a lead magnet? So the way a lead magnet works is that you have something really valuable that you're going to put out there. And in order to get it, then they are going to give you their contact information. And then you use that contact information to give them more value. And here's the really important thing that everybody overlooks is how you start the relationship really matters. So I used to just follow this lead magnet advice, and I would just be like, lead magnet, lead magnet, lead magnet, lead magnet. And that works because people love free stuff. Like, they're going to collect free stuff. But how you start that relationship is really important, because if people don't understand and realize that you sell stuff, that you have solutions that are beyond a PDF or beyond a spreadsheet, then they're going to continue to assume that you're just free. Right? You're just freewheeling Dylan. And I want you to like genuinely build real relationships. Now, here's the thing. When somebody hands over their contact information to you, only about 1 to 3% of them want to buy right now. That doesn't mean you don't invite them right now. You invite right away, because that 1 to 3%, they are in pain. They want help. They want help right now. And between 40 and 60% of the people that are going to give you their contact information are going to buy someday. Maybe not today, right? Or maybe they like the book that you are selling, but they don't like full-blown high ticket coaching program that you're selling just yet. Because like, how many of us, tell me in the chat, do you think about your purchasing decisions? Shout out, I do, if you're thinking about it. And so email marketing is a really powerful tool for helping give more information to people who are thinking about it. Don't be disappointed, because there's like 40% or so that they're going to give you their email and whatnot, and they're going to leave. They're going to unsubscribe. They're going to disengage. They're going to give you a bum email address. They're going to do like all the shenanigery, right? And that's okay. That does not make you a failure. Okay. That means they walked into your shop, your digital online store shop. They took a look around. They said, not for me. And they left. Who's done that before? If you've ever walked into a store, took a look around, decided it wasn't exactly your style, your taste, something that you really wanted, and you walked out. But it didn't mean you weren't curious, didn't mean that you weren't interested, didn't mean that you weren't gonna, you were never gonna walk back into the store ever again, right? That's rare, isn't it? It's so rare to like walk into a store that you never walk back into. I remember when I very first bought my first iPhone. This is back in 2007. I thought about that purchase and considered that purchase and mulled over that purchase and played with that device many times. Like I lost count, but let's just call it possibly 100 times, but definitely dozens of times. After dozens of times, I finally felt that I had enough information that I could pay more for the iPhone than for what the competition was at the time. This is back in BlackBerry days, okay? So I was like, do I do it? It's so expensive compared to the BlackBerry. And so, but I did it. And I've, by the way, been a loyal iPhone user ever since. They have gotten so much money out of me. But the thing is I thought about it, right? And that's one of the things that I'm really proud of is like, I never bully somebody into buying from me. I don't have to. I don't have to. But what I did realize is I'm probably going to have to give you more information, right? More information. And so let's go through those 3 different kinds of emails that kind of help give more information to inform a commitment decision. I'm not even saying a buying decision. You notice that? I'm saying a commitment decision because look, I don't want to be jamming up everybody's inboxes either with fluff and garbage and junk mail, right? But like nobody wants to do that. So what I am doing with email is I'm making sure that I'm giving them the information that they need to be able to make a committed decision. And I'm willing to email you, every day, every week for years. And I've had people who have been on my email list, been in my social following and watched me consistently for over 3, 4, 5 years. And then finally, the stars aligned enough. They got enough information. And sometimes it's information from me, but oftentimes it's information from outside and from the rest of the world that they were like, yes, I choose you, Pikachu. And the one story I'm thinking of right now, she chose me. She turned around. She made like over $200,000 that year because she finally got the coaching, the engagement, the accountability that she needed to be able to make the moves that she needed to make. I'm just saying. Like the number one thing that coaches need to do a lot better, in my opinion, is invest in the relationship with their future clients, right? Stop expecting one email, one PDF, one video, one post on social media to be enough for you to get any kind of a real response. You've got to invest in that relationship in the same way that they are investing in you. Like I'm so reverent whenever somebody buys from me, like even my $5 book. I have a $4.95 book called Coaching Leads Made Easy. And just say book or message me book if you ever want me to just send you the link to get the book. But I was like, just the book's not good enough. I need the book. I need templates. I need tools. I need to give you some more systems. I was just like, my God. So when you get the book, you're getting like $500 worth of stuff. No joke. You're getting like $500 worth of stuff and you're paying $4.95. And that is very much on purpose. Like people get all uppity about, oh, you're just trying to make money. I'm like, yeah, obviously, because I know how much it costs me to be able to get the wisdom and the insights that go into this $4.95 download. It is a tiny percentage of a fraction to be able to tell you what I'm telling you in Coaching Leads Made Easy. But I also know that trust comes hard, right? Trust can come hard because how many of us have been duped, right? Boozled, tricked by somebody, especially online, right? We've all had that. So I'm willing to make the investment in building the trust faster. And if I do it, one way is through generosity. So the first type of email is a value email. Okay, so generosity. So it could be dropping a tip, which is nice, but even better is like a tool. So a spreadsheet, an AI prompt, a meditation recording. Just don't make it too long, right? Just make it like this short, snappy, easy to consume thing that starts to alleviate. I almost think of it like you're giving aspirin. So, like if somebody's got a really bad splitting headache and they've had this bad splitting headache every day for, weeks, then, and I'm the doctor, I might like give an aspirin for immediate relief. But if they've had this headache going on, there's probably more than just it's a random headache. Like they probably have underlying issues. So the headache is just a symptom And the aspirin can be really good temporary relief. But then I'm, as a doctor, going to engage them in a conversation to find out a little bit more about their activities. I'm going to be diagnosing by taking more measurement from that person. But the thing is that I can't diagnose or help someone who doesn't want my help, right? So if I give the aspirin, I solve a temporary small pain that's on the way to solving the bigger issue. That is like putting a deposit in the trust bucket. Trust bucket. It's like putting a deposit in the trust bucket. Okay. But something I did that I totally screwed up is I was just like, value, 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 value. Here's this, here's this, here's this, here's this. And I was just jamming people's, Google Drives with all these solutions, which people loved. Like they're like, yes, please. I would love that template for sure. I would like that script. Incredible. I would very much enjoy this how-to for no money. But that's just one kind of email. The second one that I added that changed the freaking game was storytelling. Okay. Storytelling. So sometimes the reason that people aren't listening to you or even taking your value emails is because they're not connecting the dots as to why that would be important to them. So if I had started this live and I was like, okay, everybody, here's my list of 200 highest converting subject lines. Here's my list of my email template. Here's my email schedule. Here's my segmenting system. Okay, go. You might download it, but would you open it? Being totally honest. And even more honest, would you use it, right? Would you use it? How many of us have bought a program? Like, Malay, you bought a whole program and you still don't have any leads, right? And that's not on you, by the way. That's not on you. What happened was there was a whole bunch of tool put in your hands and relating it to you so that you could use it didn't happen somehow. Right? Somewhere along the way, the connect, because what happens when people are not taking action, this is like coaching 101, motivation 101. When people are not taking action, it's usually because they don't have the clarity that it applies to them. So listen to what I'm saying. They don't have the clarity about how it applies to them, right? So everybody, every adult has special snowflake syndrome. Okay. So special snowflake syndrome is this desire to like be individual, be unique. And it's a strong, strong desire. And sometimes we need it because we crave like this love and we want people to appreciate us and we want people to help us. And so like we're special. We're really, really special. But the thing about business is that a lot of it is just processes. They're just steps. They're just activities that if you just took the activity step, regardless of how you feel about yourself, regardless of how you look, regardless of the language you speak, regardless of what you're doing, if you just took the steps, you would get a result. And having leads on your list is actually one of those things. You don't actually have to feel any better about yourself. Now, I do want you to feel better about yourself, but that's because I'm a coach, right? I'm saying that if you want better business results, you need more leads that are engaged with you. So there's actions that you need to take. So what is one of the best tools? Help the snowflake see themselves in your story. Because when people see themselves in the story, then you can connect the dots through the drama and the story to lead to the moral of the story. And it's almost like you're offering up a new decision. Like, do you want to do this? Now, one of the stories that I always tell is that I started this coaching business with 8 names on a Post-it. And that's all I'm asking you to do. Is recognize that if you comb through your Gmail account, all the addresses of emails that you have, if you comb through your contact list, your address book, I promise you've got a few names that you can start your email list right now. And that's all I did. I reached out to those first 8 people and I said, hey, and I was awkward. I said everything wrong. I did it all wrong. I said, hey, I've got this new coaching certification. I really like you. I think you're cool. Could you do me a favor? Would you please sit down with me and do a complimentary coaching session? And it was awkward. It was so awkward to ask. And they were like, right? And then, I think it was like the second or third guy that I coached. He was like, this is amazing. This is really good. Like, I actually have a friend that's going through some stuff right now. Would it be okay if I introduced you to him? And it was just like, what? And it occurred to me that, oh my gosh, I don't have to know everyone because everyone knows other people. So when I clued in, I was like, oh my gosh, I could just ask at the end of every one of these complimentary sessions, who do you know that would be a good fit for this? Or, there's different languaging you can use, but if I could just like ask, like, do you know someone else that would really like a complimentary coaching session? I literally started there, and my list of 8 grew to 16, grew to 24, grew to 100, grew to 200, grew eventually to 20,000. So, it's really understanding that you don't have to have a big list, but you do have to take responsibility to write down the list that you have. That's the moral of the story. Do you see how powerful that is to just like tell it as a story? And I chose a very specific story. I did not choose a story where I'm like, I'm so great. I'm amazing. I have 20,000 people on my email list. Oh my God, look at me. I'm so great, right? Like, did not do that because it's an off-putting story. We want to pick a connecting story about when was your person struggling with the thing that you have now solved, and how did you go about solving it? And so the story email is one of the most powerful things that you can do, because when you pair it with the value email, now it's like, okay, I can trust her because she's telling me the truth through story and creativity, which is just the funnest, right? And then I'm actually adding real value. So I'm not just entertainment, I'm educating, I'm offering value. Third kind of email, most important kind of email. It's easy to overdo, but it's way easier to underdo this third email, okay? Way easier to underdo this than overdo this. And that is the invite email. So the invite email is an email that you send that is inviting the person receiving the email to take a next step. And something I screwed up so badly, and I'm so happy to tell you that I did, and that it was awful and it sucked, but it was like, I'm still here to tell you about it, is I would do these invite emails that were asking for really big commitments. Okay. I now understand that the currency of your business is in the connected conversation that you're having with someone. I'm going to say that one again. The currency of your business, your ability to generate cash flow, your ability to have connection, has to do with the connected conversation that drives to commitments. That's it. So you don't need to sell your whole program in email. You don't. I used to have so much pressure to do that. And I lost a lot of people on my list a long time ago because I was like hard selling. And I was just like, I was pushing really, really hard. And I was like, if I give like all the details and I do all the direct response stuff, then they will love me. When it comes to a direct sale in email, I would say the highest you probably want to go is maybe a couple $100 as a course, maybe, right? You're probably better off going lower ticket and then doing targeted follow-up with the buyers, and see if you can get a conversation. That is the thing that I would just like, again, I learned that one probably 7.5 years into my business. So it's a pretty recent development. But what I realized is that a buyer is a buyer is a buyer. Like, if they care enough to buy, then like, again, $1.95 book, right? And this is such a great question from Lynn. She says, what's the ratio? Like, how often do you share a story? How often do you share a value? How often do you share an invitation? I would say you should have a next step invitation in every single email. So for example, in the value email, the next step is download the free thingy, right? Or the next step is sign up for my live training, or the next step is join my free community. But make it like simple ask, really simple ask on the story email. And then of course the value email, if you've got like a spreadsheet they can get, or a list of AI prompts and a Google Doc. I recently did a new white paper that's all about the ultimate coaching blueprint that is going from certified to paid. And so it's a little bit of a longer read. But it's my take. It's like, what does it actually take to build the coaching business? So you want to have the link to download and like understand that is a next step. Every time they follow a link, that's a next step. In terms of the hard invite, like the direct invite, you should be doing a direct invite at least once a week, where it's just pretty stripped back, right? And I would, go for, if you have a lower ticket product, test it. And when I say lower ticket, I mean less than $19. Test it. And you might send a few emails. Now, here's where it gets a little bit more artsy fartsy. If you, instead of looking at like weekly, you start double clicking up to your months and your quarters and your years, then something that I teach in the Experts Network is about this idea of promotional cycles. So promotional cycles are where you are doing a series of emails. You've probably heard it called a launch, right? But you don't have to do a full-blown Jeff Walker crazy launch, right? You don't have to do a Stu McLaren style launch. You don't have to do something like crazy big. And I'm telling you that because although those things do work, they work better when you have a lot of volume and a bigger list. If you don't have a lot of volume in a bigger list, then the better thing to do is almost think of it as like a pulse, a rhythm. So for example, I like to fairly regularly do a live webinar. I do one about every 6 weeks, right? And so that gives me an excuse for about a week to talk about the webinar. Now, when I talk about the webinar itself is the value. So the thing that I'm giving is the link to opt into that. Now, the first one is going to be a straight invite, right? Straight invite to value. The second email I'm going to send is probably going to be a story email, right? I might tell one or two stories. And what's great about story emails is the story is the value, right? Now, what I might try on the third or fourth day, if I'm doing like 5 days of promotion, third or fourth days, I might be like, hey, I've got this gift for you that's related to the webinar. And I might put on the thank you page, hey, don't forget to sign up for the webinar. So I'm finding like different ways to get people's attention, and it's just giving. Once I'm on the webinar, I again give value, but then it's an invitation. And when you have people in person, you can do a higher ask and have it be received really, really well. If you're not ready for all those rhythms, if you're like, shit, that's just like a lot, Amanda, then you probably should join the Experts Network and go through our Level Up program to learn about list building and crafting your message and work your way up to it. So I hope that helps. And if you're like, just give me like the simplest bare ass minimum. The bare ass minimum is like send 3 emails a week and do one of each, right? That's like, I would say below that, don't bother. Below that, don't bother. But if you're in the like, I want to bother, I just want to bother in a small way and build on that, do all 3 once a week. Okay, I hope that really helped. Let's talk about the biggest mistakes and some of the big, like, definitely do it, right? So that was great. Okay, good. I was just like, what's she saying? I'm glad it was helpful. Okay. So my best emails brought in $100,000 in a weekend. I'm like still so proud of that. My best emails, it was purely an email campaign. There was no big webinar. There was no big launch. There was no event. It wasn't coming off of an event. It was just strategic emails targeted to the right people. And I generated $100,000 in one single weekend. So, and that was combining a lot of different things. It wasn't just like an invite. It was also an invite with a deadline, and I was using urgency and scarcity, and I was doing like all the things. $100,000 in one weekend, which is just like banana phone. I didn't even put anything on social media during that campaign. It was so good. Okay, now the worst emails that I sent, those are the best emails I've ever sent. The worst emails were the ones I never sent. Right? So let's talk about the biggest mistakes in email. Number 1, not doing it. Waiting for some magical future time when you're going to be ready to send email. And I'm not kidding. If you have not started your email list, your assignment before you go to bed tonight, my challenge to you is please put emails in your system. If you bought the system, you're paying for the system, you have not put names in that system the second you got it, stop it. And if you're like, I don't know how to use the system, then shout out Plaza and I will enroll you in Plaza Plus. We'll get you started. And it comes with an onboarding call. So like, there's no reason to say that's stuck, but everybody does it. The second big mistake is doing it selfish. I used to think that selling was selfish. I used to think that selling was selfish. I used to think that building a business was kind of a selfish thing to do. And you know what? There's people who think that about me. They think I'm selfish. They think that I'm a big jerk. But you know what? That's fine. That's totally fine, because here's what I know. I know that I spent over $50,000 before I got my first major coaching client. over $50,000. And I also know that I spent hundreds of thousands of dollars to be able to build the skill set and the capability that I now have to be able to generate more predictable income at a profit. That's insane. That's absolutely insane. I get mad when I think about it because I'm like, like the only reason why I was able to do that is because I went into debt and then I had to like recover from a bunch of debt. And I'm like, that is stupid. That is so dumb, right? That's the way that it is that you've got to pay $10,000 to get a certificate from somebody to say that you're good enough. And then you've got to pay like more and more and more. Like, that's nuts. I want you, if you're joining one of my programs for thousands, then boy, oh boy, it better be with eyes wide open. Eyes wide open, right? Like that you're ready to own your stuff, that you're ready to like activate that. And I actually wound down my mastermind in large part because I was like, you know what? I need more people in my audience who have the discretionary income that they can make that investment and feel really great about having done so. So there it is. Okay. So when I say doing it selfish, here's how it actually comes across. They're emails that are all about you. They're emails that are all about your challenges, what's holding you back, but they don't give a solution. They don't even hint at a solution a lot of the time. And I'm on a lot of email addresses and email lists and even emails from like successful entrepreneurs. I've been really looking at successful entrepreneurs lately. And I'm like, their email marketing generally sucks, like to the point where I would say that they should just stop doing it because I promise they're not measuring anything and they're really casual about it and they're just relying on AI and an assistant to do it. And it just like, there's no strategy. There's no connection planned. There's no commitment in there. And it sucks. It's very selfish. The other thing is like just not building a habit around it, not building a habit around your relationships. And this is actually like a bigger issue. The principle here is build intention about having good relationships. My best friends, we literally have like our appointment to talk together about what's going on in our world, just friendly conversation on the calendar every week. It's booked. Okay. Actually, same with my family. I call them on a really, really regular cadence, and it may not be on their calendar, but it sure as shit is on mine. Right. So I think just being really casual about it. And then the last big issue is it's just boring. So there's no energy to it. There's no pop. There's no controversy. There's no challenge. There's no funny moments. It's just benign noise, right? Because people are so worried about offending other people or getting canceled or having some sort of a negative impact by showing up in somebody's inbox. I'm going to tell you right now how to solve that. Have an unsubscribe at the bottom of every email. Okay, now it's not going to catch everyone. You're still going to get the odd person who doesn't know how that sort of thing works, and they're going to reply angrily about how you're emailing them, right? And they forgot that they opted in. They have bad email management hygiene. Whenever that happens, here's how I handle it. I send a kind email and I say, hey, so sorry to hear that you don't want to hear from us anymore. I've gone ahead and removed you from the list. Now, a little extra that I do is I tag that person so that if they accidentally wander back in, they don't get emails from me ever again. As long as it's the same email address. Now, I've had some people that just like insist on changing their emails. It's the same person and they have the same problem, but that is a them problem. That's not a system problem, because the vast majority of people, like, they will just unsubscribe quietly. They'll quietly slip off into the darkness, or they'll just stop opening your emails altogether, and then you can stop emailing people that have not opened something for a long time. Okay, so those are kind of the big mistakes, but like, we got to talk about how to win too. So let's talk about how to win. The first thing is just keep your message really plain. I notice a lot of coaches, we're big readers. We really enjoy journaling. We are very verbose. So just keep the message plain and simple. And the way that I do this is I write the long one that has all the long details, and I just delete. I cut like so much of what I was going to say to make sure that it's very impactful, it's friendly, it's helpful, and it's like, I don't dress it up either. I don't have banners. I don't have signatures with my picture in it. I don't have a bunch of links to social media. Look, if they're on my email list, they probably are already on my social media anyway. So I don't need to like load up my email with a whole bunch of superfluous stuff and background colors and whiz bang pop. Tell short, relevant stories that lead to the moral and an invitation. Do other marketing moves. So this is a marketing move. Every single week I go live. I'm on this video is going to get edited into a YouTube. It's going to become shorts. It's going to become reels. We've got the transcript that we can use for content production. So just have those other marketing moves. And we teach this, by the way, in the Experts Network inside our program. We show you how to build a group, a community that you can direct people to so that you can have like a regular show just like we do, and you can build more content from there. Make sure you keep sharing valuable templates, prompts, insights, and I would say take a course. So if you haven't taken the Coaching Goldmine, do let me know, because I'm thinking about doing a challenge around the Coaching Goldmine. And I got tremendous feedback from our beta when we did this. Basically, what I have in mind, I haven't decided if I want to do it yet, but you tell me if this is a good idea. So the first thing is you enroll in the program, and I'm actually building in 3 coaching calls over a 6-week period. And you also get access to a group that I call the Messenger Pod, or the Message Mastery Pod. And there's assignments that you're going to do. Now, what I have in mind is actually designing this more like a challenge so that you can actually write. Because one of the things I learned in the beta is that people took the course, but then they skipped the homework. So I want to actually build the challenge so that you get better at creating content because you actually create the content, right? Then I'm going to put in there like a specific challenge so that you would be posting 21 times. Is what I'm thinking. This is like the design. And so I bring it up with you here live because y'all are like, my diehards, and I really appreciate you. Is that something I should pursue or do? Like, do you think I should do the Coaching Goldmine not as a beta, but as a challenge? And the way I just described that challenge, you get like private coaching touch points, you get the community, you get the challenge, you get like really clear execution points so that you can practice doing content. And if you're already doing content, you can just take the content you're doing and you can bring it through the process. But if you're not doing content, you haven't started a list, this would be a really, really powerful thing. So just shout out a waitlist if that's something that you are really interested in, and we'll pursue it. But I need to hear that there's people that would actually do it if I put it out there. It does sound interesting. Okay. All right, good. Thank you. That's a vote for the yes. If you need more information about it, but to be able to tell me it's a good idea, Trisha thinks it's a great, okay. Looks like you guys think it's a really good idea. All right. Okay. All right. Maybe I'll flesh this out. I'm going to be meeting with my team a little bit earlier. Need a little bit more info. Okay. What if I told you that it's not free, but it is very, very close to free? Not free, but very, very close to free. Right? Does that help? Yeah. Okay. So let me know. I'm so excited. I really want to give it a try, but okay. That makes a difference. Okay. Okay. I see you. All right, you guys. I hope you had so much fun. Next week, we're going to keep going with our weekly training as we've planned. Next week, what are we talking about? Holy cow. We're actually going to talk about Client Attraction Masterclass, building a waiting list of dream clients. We're going to break down what it actually takes to create a coaching practice full of clients that are excited, aligned, and already asking how they can work with you. And so if you've ever wished that you had a wait list, then next week you want to be here. So make sure you're inside the Clients Over Chaos community. Go to Next 5 Clients. That's nextnumber5clients.com to make sure you don't miss it. And I will see you very, very soon, my friends. Under the category ADHD, my mug says, "That's what she said." Oh, there's a whole story on that. But I've already kept you a little longer than I planned, so we will see you very soon. We'll see you next week. And as always, do what matters, and we'll go and impact the world positively this week. Okay, you guys? We'll see you soon.